Okay guys, welcome back. As usual, I made a bunch of notes while watching this. 4 words come to mind. Convenience, coincidence, reactive, proactive. I want you to think about these words when watching anything, whether it be an episode of a TV show or a movie. Alright then, let's get on with it. The Night Agent, Season 1, Episode 2. And honestly, what is this nonsense? So we open with Rose having issues at a cybersecurity company. Hackers have infiltrated one of her biggest investors' firms. Fine, that could be very interesting. And then suddenly, bam, she's being questioned by the FBI about the murder of her aunt and uncle, while Peter is just standing outside listening in like he's waiting for a dentist appointment. Wait, what? The following is a good one. Her aunt and uncle have literally just been murdered. She saw the guy firing the gun, and yet she refuses a lift and an escort from Secret Service agents and decides to walk. Walk? Are you kidding me? Characters remember nothing ever. On the way to the hotel, Rose explains her plan to Peter. It's to stay alive as long as possible. That's why she refused the lift and the escort from the Secret Service agents. Makes perfect sense. Characters making dumb choices as usual. I mean, come on. People were trying to kill her. Survival skills 0. Self-awareness 0. But apparently she's a survivor now. Because we were told this in episode 1. Seriously, good grief. Anyway, they arrive at the hotel room and Peter tells her to stay out of sight. And to stay away from the balcony. Mate, the entire apartment has floor-to-ceiling glass windows. They're huge glass windows. And this is a safe house, a room in a hotel. What could possibly go wrong? Then Peter, basement phone operator extraordinaire, confidently tells Rose they're going to get the bad guys. How exactly? With what experience? And then Diane Farr says she's been training Peter for the last 12 months. Training him where exactly? For what exactly? And how exactly? On the phone? In the basement? What has this man been training for? Voice posture? How to answer the telephone correctly? We then cut to night time. Obviously Peter's at work. Rose is in her hotel room, sitting directly next to the massive window. Blinds open, balcony door open. Then obviously she gets up and walks out onto the balcony. Why not, eh? Maybe she needs fresh air. She has a death wish, or just a contractual obligation to ignore all advice. She rings Peter while casually pacing around the balcony like she's on holiday. And this phone conversation goes on and on and on. Honestly, the pacing here is really hit and miss. It's all over the place. Lots of talking, very little thinking or actually doing. They eventually agree to meet up the following morning. Then surprise, Peter just happens to arrive at the hotel exactly when the Secret Service agents are missing and all the lights go out. Total darkness. No coincidences here at all. What if he decided to go later? Or not go at all? What if they decided not to meet up at all? Does the plot just pause? Also, this is a pretty big hotel. Where are all the staff? Where are all the guests? Is this a hotel for ghosts? Because it's apparently empty enough for 2 assassins to wander around freely, smashing windows and firing guns, without getting noticed by anyone. Speaking of which, glass smashes onto the street below. Gunshots ring out. And nobody notices. Suppressors or not, that's not how sound works. There's also some very obvious misdirection happening, I think. Diane keeps pointing the finger at Hawkins, which immediately makes me suspicious of Diane. They return to Rose's place, and she's shocked that her aunt was shot. Shocked? She literally watched it happen. And Peter just happens to be standing in exactly the right spot to find the hidden hard drive. Coincidences are doing a lot of heavy lifting here. And why are we spending so much time with the assassins? Are we supposed to care about them? Care about their relationship? Because I don't. And then, remember these numbers? 2871, yes, those numbers from the first episode. Obviously Peter recognises these numbers, and obviously it's a file name on the hard drive. Coincidences keep on rolling. We then find out that Hawkins is dead. That was easy, way too easy, and Farr is very insistent that they come in. Not suspicious at all, honestly. I've watched this entire season before, and I remember nothing about it. Actually, that's not quite true. I sort of remembered the assassins, but that's about it. Which is, well, not a good sign. That's episode 2. I think I'm done. This has been watching nonsense unfold. Sometimes it really is nonsense, and sometimes it's just, well, it's just disappointing. Anyway, that's what I thought. I'll be back with whatever I end up watching next. Actually, I'll be back with a more structured breakdown in part 2. Thanks for watching.